Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage I've got an unusual one for you in that I'm not in the garage, I'm in Jazzy, and I'm going to do a reshell or refurb on this key, this remote fob key. Now, obviously this is a Fiat because it's for my IH motorhome, which is based on a Ducato, but I've bought a complete key refurb kit from a company online that seem to offer quite a wide range of key refurb kits. For current vehicles, it has to be said, so don't get too excited about the XK81, X100 opportunities. But I was really impressed with what you get for how little I've paid. So I've paid about £8.50 or something like that all in for this. I'll show you just in 1 second. And if it goes together and acts like it should, then I will put a link in the description below, because bargain, very good. If it's not so good, then probably I won't bother. This is not sponsored. I've not been sent this. I bought it with my money. So I'll be saying exactly what I think. But yeah, I'll show you what I got. So we'll start off with the issue. So here's my key fob. Typical of anything in the Fiat range. A lot of General Motors vehicles. Yeah, any of the vans that are going to be the same as mine, i.e. the Citroen Relay, Peugeot Boxer, the Fiat 500, the Fiat Abarth, the list goes on. I don't know all the keys that are the same, but it's battered beyond belief. The rubber buttons are falling apart. I think they've been handled with brake fluid on or something like that. Some of the shell is missing. The spring doesn't work properly, but it does function. It actually works as a remote control. So let's look at what we get in this refurb kit. Now, there's plenty of options out there, it must be said, to supply you with these. I went for the one that looked most OE, or sorry, original equipment. And for this particular one, that was based on the fact that it got the current Fiat logo for my vehicle. The logo has changed slightly in the last 18 months. But this is the Fiat logo that's on my wheel centers and the dashboard and all the rest of it. So I really like that. This is a key without the circuitry inside it. So we've got all the plastic parts. We've got a blank blade. Now I'm not going to get that cut because I'll be able to reuse this, but it does mean I've got a spare blank should I want to get one cut and make up another one. I've also got brand new battery for it, a 3V 2032, and really surprisingly comes with 3 of the super small sub-micro switches. And when you press the little rubber buttons, you're actually pressing one of these. So if you've got a key fob where these don't operate, you've actually got the mechanical buttons to replace on your circuit board should you want to. And mine work, so I'm going to put them back in the bag, but we'll have a look at where they fit. So let's just start off by looking at these two side by side, and this really does look and feel like original equipment. Mine is missing this trim piece that goes around the rubber buttons, so that's literally missing from this one, and I have no logo on the button here. So that could be as it came, it could have lost it, don't know. And when folded, the new one, oops, try and hold it just so, you can't see the blade of the key. When you hold this one, you can see the blade of the key, partly because the trim is missing, but partly because it doesn't fully retract and stay in. So what we're going to do is dismantle this, open up your key. First thing is, there's a little screw there. It's not actually a screw, it's a latch that enables you to get the battery out. So let's get that out. Just put a screwdriver into that slot and turn it from the position where it's in clockwise a little bit towards a little logo that shows an unlocked symbol. And you should, I have to use my screwdriver to flick it out, be able to lift that panel, and out comes the battery in a little battery holder. Interestingly, it's wet in there. Don't know why. Could be literally wet, could be the battery giving in and causing grief. Don't know. Now I would say at this stage, use the open slot to help you prise off the outer trim on this top bit, but I don't have one. So we'll move straight on to prising off the bottom trim, which comes off quite easily. Once you've got that edge up, what you've got to suss out is this is one piece with this piece here and all this side. So all you're doing is you're lifting it up, but you've got to slide it off this tab at the back. So I'm trying to find the best way to show you. There we go. Just lift it up a little bit more. Oops, some bits of plastic dropping out, and then pull it off that end. There we go. Kind of down to the chassis. So another little bit of plastic trim broke off. When you've got this piece off, you've got an actual screw head, which I shall whip out. Okay, so with that screw removed, what you should find is that this will split. But there are clips 1, 2, 3 and 4 around the body, which won't put up much of a fight, but might need to just tease out of engagement like that. So I'm just putting a blade of a penknife underneath the clip and then turning it up so as to lift the clip over its barb. Theoretically, of course, I can rip this apart because I'm going to not reuse the plastics. However, if you think about it, you've got to disassemble the new key. So this makes the perfect practice key. Make your mistakes on the old one. So I think I've got them all off. So now I should be able to just pull the whole thing apart. I'm going to take the button side up. There we go. That's the bottom. That's the top, or the button side I'm holding. Now we can see the blade of the key. It turns in there. The hinge point is on the other half of the key base, but it's held down by this hook, this metal hook. When you press the button on the other side, the metal hook rises above the blade. And you can give it a little quarter turn clockwise. And off comes your key. Now there's a spring inside the key blade, so carefully don't lose that. There we go. And it's got a little tail on it. And that little tail is going to go in a slot in that plastic there, and that's going to give it the flicking out action. Then we've got to lift out the circuit board, which is obviously an important bit, so be careful with it. Only handle it by the edges. You don't want to harm it, because this is the bit that makes the difference between you can do a refurb like I'm doing, or you've got to buy a new key from Fiat and they're going to charge whatever they want. Don't know what the current fee is, but it's very easy to pay £300 or £400 for some key fob remotes. I don't know what this one was worth. And there's our circuit board. Now, if any of these buttons weren't working, there is two little solder pads on either side. That's solder pads, not shoulder pads. And a little touch with a warm soldering iron on both of those, whilst lifting the switch carefully with a pair of needle nose pliers, would have them come straight off the circuit board. And you can pop the new one on, and again warm the solder, and they'll be in place. This is a Magneti Marelli branded circuit board, which lines up with key supplier to Fiat. And for those who need to know, it's a P23763U. So we can set aside the plastic case, this part of the plastic case, this part of the plastic case. We need the blade. We'll use the new battery. I'm not sure about the battery holder yet, so let's disassemble the new key. So we'll start by flicking it open. Then we'll open the battery compartment. This first interesting thing, there's a rubber seal around there, which is missing from my so-called original. So I'm going to put the new battery straight into this. Always worth giving both sides a little wipe in case there's any protective substances on them. We want a nice contact, and then we slide our battery into place underneath the contacts. That's ready to reinstall. Next, we want to pop the top trim off, which is missing entirely off mine. So there are a little clip you can see there. Give that a little tug. Work your way around it. Even pressure. Put my fingernail in the gap just to ease it up. So you can quite easily pop this outer trim off. The reason that's important is that little blade there goes in a hole there and effectively stops the bottom case coming off. So with that out of the way, you can wiggle this and get the bottom case to come off. Spring tensions turning it. So the blank out, and we're going to put the old blade back in. Now there's a shaped slot there for the spring to go through, so you can't get this the wrong way round. What I need to do is install it in such a way as I put on one turn of tension. So I'm just pushing that down and out of the way. Because we want to put that through the hole like that. Now of course we want the key to pop that way, so we're going to turn it complete revolution the opposite direction, and then put everything back. Hopefully you can follow this, guys. It's a little bit difficult to film any better, and I know my fingers are in the way. Okay, so I found an issue. It's not an issue as long as you want to have the new blade cut and get on with that, but there's a raised portion, again just looking for the best light, there's a little raised portion here that on the new key blade, this raised portion is not a problem because it's deeply recessed in the new key blade. The old original key blade is more shallow and can't accommodate this little bit sticking up. So if you look at the old plastics, this is flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that piece off. And trimming this off wouldn't prevent the new key blade being used. It just allows the old one to be used. Okay, so we are now trimmed off smooth, and now the key blade fits and rotates around that little collar. So, one more try. Put the spring back on, like so. Wind it up. Just that half turn. So it's preloaded to want to open. Put our new button back through the hole. Okay, that can hook over our key blade, like so. Fit the tiny spring into that hole there. And then you just got to get the cover back on. Should be easy. Indeed. And snapped into place easily. Keys locking. Press the button. Unlocked. Goes round. Releases. So that bit of the mechanism is working just fine. Let's put the screw back in before it all jumps apart. That's working for me. Then we've got our outer shell. Put the key tab back through. Slide this into position. That's good. Put our top panel back on. Refit our battery. Done. And hey presto, key. But looks like new. Only the blade shows that isn't new. Very impressed with that. I think that's a good bargain. I will put a link in the description below, but if you're not handy or happy to do a little bit of adjustment, then yeah, maybe give it a wide berth. But as a way of saving a lot of money and smartening up an old tatty key, very, very good. So for a garage dweller like myself, great. Well, hope you found that one interesting, a little bit different. Check it out. I will put the link below. There are lots of other key shells available and refurb kits, and yeah, maybe you can get some use out of it. See you soon, folks. Bye. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.